The universe is really a remarkable and highly unlikely thing, and you are part of it. And one of the greatest mysteries it compels us to consider is why it bothers to exist. And I've devoted a good deal of my life exploring this. And doing so has led me to discover again the increasingly lost art of wonder. Because, believe me, there is much to wonder about and even more to learn. We can have different responses to the miracle of existence, but I respectfully submit that shrugging your shoulders and saying, well, it's all too confusing, is probably not very fruitful. The outrageously unlikely features of the universe that have resulted in sentient life, that have resulted in the richness of life, that have resulted in humour and laughter, that have resulted in the skills of Mozart, the heroism of Mother Teresa, the beauty of art, and the relationships of love, need a better response than a lazy shrug of the shoulders. And I believe we need to extricate ourselves enough from the hurry sickness and banal thinking engendered by a commercially driven society and discover again two things. The first is a sense of wonder, and the second is a passion for uncovering the truth behind it all. I think truth and wisdom is a lifetime search, and I love hanging around those who dare take the journey of discovering what it's all about. For they are truly the dangerous ones, the creative ones, the ones who leave their stamp on history. So let the significance of your life be more than that you will ultimately make good fertilizer. Life, you see, is a chance to find truth, and perhaps even an invitation to find truth. Well, amongst other things, I am a public speaker. I just love encouraging people to wonder, to be amazed, to wake as if from a dream and dare to discover more than they currently have. And there are 5 areas that I am usually asked to speak on. The first is effective leadership. Now, I suppose this was pretty inevitable given that I wrote an undergraduate course on leadership and teach it. However, I also bring a fair bit of experience, having been the state sales manager for a multinational chemical company and also the pastor of a multi-staff church. So, conflict management, visioning for the future, managing organisational culture, building a team, learning leadership styles that work best in different situations. These are just some of the things that I'm called to speak on. The second thing that I'm called to speak on is the intriguing subject of whether or not there is any evidence of God in the cosmos, i.e., is there any meaning behind this thing we call life? It was actually the area of my doctoral thesis, which I enjoyed hugely. And that in turn spawned a book, Evidence of God, which you can order online if you're interested. Well, because of the antics of extremists, science and faith have not always been seen to be happy bedfellows. And this is regrettable, because when the two disciplines are allowed to dance together, the result can be very fruitful indeed. Theology, you see, puts science in a deeper context. It has something more to say than that we are here because we are, well, here. So one of the things that I do is not only seek to make sense of the order of the universe and see evidence of a higher mind behind it all, but also to look realistically at suffering, waste, injustice, because we also need to make sense of that. And I'm the first to admit that there is much mystery surrounding this, but also much liberating truth, and above all, hope. I put together a brief online course for those who want to know the basics of this. If you do all 4 sessions, it takes about 35 minutes, and you can do it for free. Just go to thisisnick.com www.evidence-of-god.net and look for Evidence of God, a free online course. And so it is that I'm asked to speak about the scientific evidence of God. I was once invited to the King's School Public Engagement Forum in Sydney to speak to 800 people on the credibility of Richard Dawkins' thinking. The two other speakers invited were a biologist and an anthropologist, and it was an interesting night. The third thing that I'm asked to speak about is education in our time. I've written undergraduate courses and TAFE courses, so education has been a large part of what I do. I was the keynote speaker at the South Australian Christian Schools Biennial Conference in 2009, Foundations for the Future, at which I gave 2 one-hour papers to some 500 delegates. I was also a keynote speaker to 240 delegates at the Australian Boarding School Association Conference at the Gold Coast in 2012. The fourth subject I get called to speak on is the art of public speaking. So I better do this very well, hadn't I? So public speaking and preaching. And this is a subject that I have lectured undergraduates on and put into practice myself as a pastor who has preached for some 20 years. Public speaking for me has taken on a particular nuance in that I've written and recorded some 380,000 words for radio, doing the thoughts for the day, daily devotions, and also book readings. Public speaking has also taken me to America and India. Finally, the fifth subject I speak on is creative writing. I've written about 10 books, all of which have been accepted for publication. I write apologetic works, biblical resources, and also novels. My first novel was called The Celtic Stone, and you can get it from bookshops or online. 2 others have been written, and a 4th is on its way. So there it is. If you feel that I could add value to your conference as a speaker, then do contact me via my website.